everyone, and welcome to another episode of Space Coast Tortoise. Today, I wanted to touch base on doing some basic health checks for your tortoises, just to make sure that everything is copacetic. So I have Atlas here, the Burmese star. First thing you want to do is you would want to look at the eyes, make sure they're nice, bright, clear, and open. You want to avoid any puffiness or any mucus that may be collected around the eyes. If their eyes are just closed all the time, you see any kind of mucus or puffiness, I recommend taking your tortoise to the vet immediately. This could indicate some sort of ophthalmic issue that may need immediate attention. Second, you want to check the Carapace and the Plastron. You want to make sure that it is firm. If it's soft and squishy, again, I would take the tortoise to your vet immediately. You want to make sure that you check the Carapace or Plastron for any possible damage that may have occurred while in the enclosure. And again, you want to make sure that everything is nice and firm. With very young hatchlings, it is common for the Plastron to be a little bit pliable, but it will harden and should harden as they get older. Regarding the legs, you want to make sure that they are moving appropriately. You want to check for any kind of lameness. That would again require some immediate attention. Now, ideally, you want to be soaking your tortoise daily. I do myself. And this is a good time to check for urates, which is excess uric acid that's filtered out through the kidneys. This indicates optimal kidney health. And also with their bowel movement, you want it to be formed. If it just seems like diarrhea all the time, it's very stringy, either it's been sitting in the soak for a little while, and that's normal, nothing to be alarmed about. But if it comes out like that, you may need to take a look at your diet that you're feeding your tortoise. As far as the beak and the nails go, if you do not have the appropriate enclosure to counteract that, you will need to probably use something like a file or a Dremel. I try to avoid this because they obviously are not a fan of it. So what I do in my enclosures is I have different types of terrain, usually mulch and everything, all the normal stuff. But I like to add some rocks and stones. When they walk over that, it tends to kind of naturally wear down the nails. And I feed them on terracotta plates, and we'll have things like carrot in their diet to help wear down their beaks naturally. This way, it's not a big deal for them that way. It's a lot easier. Keeping tortoises can be a extremely rewarding experience. Just watching them grow and kind of do their thing. But we got to make sure that we're taking care of these guys the best we can, and that we're as informed as possible, because that's how we're going to set them up for success. Now, regarding the Carapace, most would probably think this is obvious, but you never want to put anything onto the tortoise's shell. Do not paint the shell. Absolutely not. Their shell is a living, breathing part of their body. It has pores, and anything like that, or oils or anything, may clog up the pores, and you can do some serious damage to your tortoise long term. So only use water. That's it. That's all you should be applying to the Carapace. Now, if you ever do see any small bubbles or mucus around the nostrils, you definitely want to isolate that tortoise immediately from the others that you may have, just to avoid any possible contamination. Regarding this, I would suggest obviously taking it to your veterinarian as soon as possible. It may need an antibiotic injection such as Baytril. Now, when you have your tortoises in your enclosure, you want to make sure that they're thermoregulating, that they're eating Seeing them drink is pretty rare, honestly, so it may be a while before you actually catch them in the act. But you want to make sure that they're, most importantly, thermoregulating. Their metabolism is based entirely off this. If your tortoise seems lethargic, slow, not moving around very much, you may want to take a look at your heating and lighting and fix it appropriately. Now, to get into more detail about their metabolism and how it works with the thermoregulation, when they wake up, they're likely to bask first. This kind of gets everything going in the body. Then they will be looking for food or water. Once they've had their fill, they will usually bask for a little bit longer just to kind of get everything moving, keep it moving. And then they'll find their cool, humid, dark place to take a nap and just let everything digest. Now, regarding pyramiding in tortoises, it seems to be kind of a debated topic, but the general consensus seems to be it has a lot to do with diet and UV and lighting, heating. I have also heard from other tortoise keepers that it seems that some tortoises just seem to be predisposed to it. They will usually get a group of hatchlings, raise them up the exact same way in the exact same conditions, and some still seem to be a little bit bumpy, while others are nice and smooth. So, regarding that information, I think the best course of action would just be to give the best diet you can, provide the best enclosure you can, depending on your species, of course, and hopefully that works for you. And that is all for today, folks. I hope you found this video informative and you learned something that you can apply to your tortoise keeping. Please leave a like and subscribe for more content. I also have an Instagram, Space Coast Tortoise, and a email, spacecoasttortoises@gmail.com. See ya.